Lucid stock is down 95% off the highs it reached in 2021. But is the stock a buy for 2025? I'm going to answer that question in this video, letting you know if I think it's a buy, hold, or a sell by evaluating the company's revenue growth, its cash flow, its operating income, and finally putting it all up against its valuation to determine if it makes sense for long-term investors to buy for 2025 and beyond. So let's take a look at this interesting EV stock. I want to thank the Motley Fool for sponsoring this video. Visit fool.com/parkev for the 10 best stocks to buy now. So like I highlighted earlier, it's down 95% off the high, but so are many electric vehicle stocks down from their 2021 highs. In 2021, I was arguing and I was making, at the time I wasn't on YouTube, I was writing articles still at the Motley Fool, and I was writing that these valuations were too rich for a lot of these EV stocks. And I've been saying that for a couple of years now, that the EV stocks were overvalued and that investors should be really careful with these EV companies because demand for electric vehicles is not strong. It's not strong at all, especially in the US. Less than 1 out of 10 vehicles in the US sold are electric vehicles, less than 1 out of 10. And that's with trillions of dollars of stimulus that's went into this industry. So imagine what organic demand would be if there wasn't government stimulus. Now, I'm rooting for electric vehicles, especially Lucid. It's my favorite in terms of the way the cars look. Lucid's electric vehicles look amazing. The Lucid Air and the Gravity SUV that's now coming out, they look amazing. If I were to own any of these electric vehicles, the car, not the stock, I would want a Lucid out of all of them that are available. Lucid is by far my favorite in terms of design and look and feel. But the company itself, well, they've had a lot of difficulty. 2024 was a good year for the company. They did demonstrate growth. 2023 was tough. 2024, they managed to return to growth, 730 million in trailing 12-month revenue. I kind of compare Lucid a little bit to Rivian just because they're newer electric vehicle companies. They have great design and great technology in the electric vehicles themselves. And they're, similar production, right? Lucid is around 10,000 units per year. Rivian is around 50,000 units per year. And then you can't compare it to Tesla because Tesla's, numbers for 2024, they were around 1.8 million units. So you can't compare them with Tesla. That scale is much larger. Lucid and Rivian are closer in terms of scale, although Lucid sold almost exclusively sedans, while Rivian sold trucks and pickups. Still, just in terms of the other things about the business, they are similar. And the price points, right? They both sell electric vehicles at the very high-end price points, $80,000 and above. Although the Lucid Air, they lowered the price to $70,000. So let's say $70,000 and above, similar to where Rivian is. And Lucid managed to increase sales, while Rivian didn't generate any growth in 2024. Lucid did generate growth. And then going into 2025, Lucid has the Gravity SUV, a new model that's coming out that, in my opinion, if there is no challenges in production, I think it could double Lucid's sales in 2025. SUVs are incredibly more popular than sedans, and Lucid's SUV in particular looks really nice. I saw the presentation where they introduced the Gravity SUV, and it looks amazing, just like their sedans. And Lucid has one of the most efficient electric vehicles in terms of miles per charge or miles per kilowatt hour. That technology is attractive to many car buyers in the electric vehicle space. So it'll be interesting to see how much growth the SUV facilitates for Lucid in 2025. And then they are planning lower priced models coming out in 2026, maybe 2027 and beyond. But first, they wanted to introduce the brand to the world at the higher end price point and then move into lower priced models. Now, while sales have been growing, the profit improvement has only been getting worse instead of getting better. They've been losing significant sums of money on the bottom line, and that hasn't improved very much. They lost $3 billion in trailing 12-month operating income in the most recent update. They generated only $730 million in sales. So they lost more than 4 times the amount of sales on the bottom line, more than 4 times the amount of sales. This is not sustainable. Of course, this is going to decrease after they come out with the Lucid Gravity, because some of that money was going into research and development for launching the Gravity SUV. Once that is up and out and in full production, if they do indeed double sales or, approach doubling sales in 2025, I suspect these losses will improve, although that isn't guaranteed. Its peer, Rivian, I've talked about, they're also on a similar trajectory, losing multiple billions of dollars on the bottom line every year. And I don't know if Lucid will make very much improvement on this metric in 2025. Like I said, demand for electric vehicles is not very strong. It's not very strong. Organic demand is even worse if you exclude government incentives. And so there needs to be huge improvements in battery technology for consumer adoption to increase. Right now, it only makes sense for people living in the right part of the country, living in a house that has solar panels, and then charging at home so that you don't have to go charge anywhere else. And even then, people with those circumstances are not necessarily choosing electric vehicles. So it's just a tough product that is trying to be forced upon consumers around the world because of potentially cleaner energy. But consumers weren't really asking. It wasn't really solving a big need for consumers. And so whenever you have that case, whenever you have an industry that's trying to replace another industry, but it doesn't really solve a big problem for consumers, the adoption is significantly slower, as you're seeing with electric vehicles. Of course, the valuation is the cheapest it's been now because of that huge price decrease. It's trading at a forward price to sales of 3.179. So should investors buy Lucid stock for 2025? I would say not yet. I would say it's still too soon for Lucid. The prospects of the SUV look good. So investors, I would think, should wait and see how sales of the SUV progress. And then if there is significant improvement, we can revisit. But for now, it doesn't look good. And so I would say this stock is a hold or market perform. Hey everyone, I'm excited to announce that my book is finally available for sale. I've been working on it for more than a year now, so I'm really excited to finally share this with you now. It goes through my framework for evaluating stocks. Some of you often ask why I like this stock or why I like the other stock, and this framework provides you the things that I look at when I'm evaluating stocks. I've added the link in the description below.